Hi everyone, I'm Doug Dunbar with CBS 11 News. I would like to welcome you to a very special place here in North Texas. This wide open ranch is home to just about everything you'd expect on property like this. You got hay and wildlife and barns, but it's the horses like Rocky here that make this place extra special. Rocky's a therapy horse, and this is Rocky Top Therapy Center. And this place can get pretty busy. On an average week, there are some 250 to 300 children and adults with special needs who'll fill the various riding areas around Rocky Top, each of them with their own set of life's challenges. Words and phrases like autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, they're all spoken here. This is a very special place that's doing very special work all through these trained horses, therapists, volunteers, and counselors. So stay with us, because over the next half hour, we're going to take you behind the scenes here at Rocky Top, show you the amazing work that is being done here that is literally changing lives. And when we talk about telling the story of Rocky Top, there is no better place to begin than on the right trail.
I'm ready, buddy.
When you have a child that young telling you they want to die, they want to go to heaven, they have no reason to live anymore. I mean, as a parent, you go into panic mode, and it's paralyzing. It affects everybody, the entire family.
That is the stunning reality for Stephanie Feuerbacher, who has had son Taylor in the Right Trail program at Rocky Top Therapy Center for 2 years now. Taylor was diagnosed with ADHD at age 5. He was also diagnosed bipolar with deep and severe mood swings. And after countless other avenues to find help, it was these special horses at Rocky Top that had an almost immediate impact.
1 to 2 weeks, I saw a huge change in Taylor's behavior.
This place is just awesome.
14-year-old Taylor is just one of the nearly 250 kids between 8 and 14 years old who take part in Rocky Top's annual camps called Right Trail.
All right, I'm going to be right here beside you. Whenever you're ready, you're going to say walk on.
Walk on.
Here, master's-level counselors use the unconditional acceptance from these trained therapy horses to reach these youngsters who are often working through difficult emotional and social challenges.
Horses don't have the biases like we do, like most humans do. Can you scoot up on him on just a little bit? So they have an opportunity to build a relationship of trust, which takes time with horses as it does with humans.
But the ultimate goal here is to translate this
back to school, back to home, and give them an opportunity to practice those same skills that they learn here with their horse at home, at school. Breathe in, breathe in.
Chris Covington is one of Rocky Top's soft-spoken counselors who uses trust as the foundation for change in each child he works with.
There you go.
Good
Nice.
job.
Thank you for your suggestion.
The easy manner he uses on the children helps them express their feelings more freely.
Yeah, I don't want him to run anymore.
He's not going to run. We're just going to watch him.
I was scared he would go like really fast and I would trip and fall over.
But what happened?
He kind of stayed still and he knew he was here and trusted me.
He trusted you.
Yeah.
And you trusted him in the end, didn't you?
Mhm. Whoa.
There are a number of elements to Right Trail therapy, and painting the horses is a big one. To an outsider, may look like nothing more than splotches of paint slopped on with playful hands.
We need more red.
You need more red?
Yeah.
To a counselor, though, it's often an avenue to the child's soul if you listen close enough.
I painted eyes because without the eyes, he couldn't see, right? And I painted the sun because without the sun, he wouldn't be able to be warm. And I painted us because without us, he wouldn't be alive.
I draw a horse and with the angel ring because he's a god, and I also draw the big heart because I love him so much.
A big part of the traditional medical world is now advocating what's happening here at Rocky Top and other therapy centers like it, a largely unexplained phenomenon that happens between rider and horse.
Can you walk with your horse? Or are you going to walk in front of your horse? There you go.
But between that intangible and input from counselors, children with sometimes serious emotional challenges are now on a path to learning about understanding, commitment, communication, and trust. And taking those skills back home makes a world of difference in their daily lives.
Have you seen a dramatic difference from where he was to him at home now?
Yeah, it's night and day. It's night and day.
Boy, they have had a lot of success with the Right Trail program. It has changed thousands of lives over the last couple of decades. And when we look back, it's interesting to find a young man at the time from Keller, one of the very first participants in this program. His name is Lauren Walden. Today, Lauren is an officer in the North Richland Hills Police Department, but he will readily tell you that he started out on a very different path until the folks over at Rocky Top changed the direction of his life.
It's a wonderful place out here, and I know that if I hadn't come out here to do and gone through everything I did out here, I don't want to think of where I'd be right now. I'm sure I'd be on the other side of my job, so on the bad side of it.
Coming up in just a little bit, you're going to hear a whole lot more from Lauren, and he will talk in detail about a new program here at Rocky Top that is designed for a different set of North Texans who are in need right now. I'm talking specifically about sailors, soldiers, airmen, and Marines, all returning from combat duty. But first, it's the goal of Rocky Top that no rider be turned away for financial reasons. But the extensive therapy riding operation, which has more than 50 horses, is an expensive proposition. Coming up next, we're going to have a closer look at the annual event that helps Cowtown live up to its name, but also helps raise a lot of money to keep turning lives around. Welcome back, everyone, to Horses, Healing, and Hope. Here at Rocky Top, operating the Right Trail program or any of the other various riding therapy programs that they offer, it costs a lot of money. Rocky Top operates on an annual budget that tops $1 million, and some of that money clearly goes for feeding and grooming and training horses and vet bills as well. But a lot of that money goes to scholarships, which are given out to many of those who have the need but don't have the ability to pay. Those scholarships alone account for roughly 80% of all the participants in programs here at Rocky Top. Raising the money, especially in this economy that we're in right now, is the never-ending challenge. But fortunately, the one big fundraiser that Rocky Top does each and every year is not only successful, it is now a tradition in the Fort Worth stockyards. Every year, Rocky Top Therapy Center rallies North Texas cowboys and cowgirls for a one-of-a-kind event. The annual Great Trail Drive is a trip down the dusty old West Memory Lane and a critical fundraiser for Rocky Top Therapy Center.
What Rocky Top does is something that everybody in Texas ought to know about.
The day begins bright and early.
Come this way.
In Fort Worth. Horses arrive by the dozens, saddles are adjusted, and there are lots of smiles to go around, partly because the barbecue pit is warming up for an old-fashioned chuck wagon lunch, but mostly because the spirit of helping those who need it most is in the air.
It's uplifting to be involved with Rocky Top.
Gary Fickus has been a volunteer and board member for Rocky Top for 15 years and has long been part of the Great Trail Drive. This annual event raises awareness of the project as well as awareness of the volunteer effort needed to serve the needs of so many, from young children to adults, who deal with a wide range of physical and emotional challenges.
And when you understand the magnitude of the volunteerism that goes into making that program work, it's really remarkable what all they do.
Come on, cattle.
The Great Trail Drive includes riding along with the famous Longhorns right through the Fort Worth stockyards. With each click of those metal horseshoes, money is being raised for physical and psychological therapy sessions at Rocky Top. As each rider passes by, money is being raised to fund educational and counseling services for kids at risk as well as adults. It's a scene that plays out year after year in the famous stockyards. And it's an especially heartwarming event for 13-year volunteer Norman Burgess, who tries to make sure everyone here leaves with the perspective of those who benefit from Rocky Top therapy, from the dollars raised during the Great Trail Drive.
All these other things that in the rest of their world don't necessarily invite them, whereas the horse does invite them. The people that they're around, it's an equal playing ground. It's not where somebody at the supermarket or somewhere else looks at them a little bit differently. Here they look down on people rather than everybody else looking down on them.
The Great Trail Drive requires a lot of horsepower and manpower. In fact, dozens of volunteers spend 2 days wrangling all of the horses for the trail drive. But that's just once a year. Over at Rocky Top, a staff of some 300 volunteers donate their time to tack and groom horses and work with the riders during all the therapy sessions. They'll tell you that they receive much more than they give.
It's so exciting to see when they grow, how they grow and when they grow, and it's a good feeling no matter what the weather is out here. Like it's cold today, but it's a good feeling when you leave. Just knowing that you maybe in a little way help somebody just by walking a horse or walking with them, and it just makes you feel good when you drive home.
The volunteers are not all expert horsemen and horsewomen, at least they didn't start out that way. All new volunteers complete a thorough orientation before they ever start working with the horses and the riders. And they come from all walks of life, but they have one thing in common. They all want to make a difference.
I lost my sister on September 11th, and she did a lot of volunteer work, and I just kind of wanted to make her proud that I was doing something for other people.
Coming up next on Horses, Healing, and Hope, it's the story of Jacob and Jared, 2 little boys who were given very little chance of even surviving after birth. Wait until you see them now. Welcome back, everyone. The Rocky Top Therapy Center is certainly home to a lot of success stories, but there's one in particular that really exemplifies the great work that is going on here right now, and that is the story of Jacob and Jared, 2 little boys who have seen extraordinary changes in their lives, all because of these horses. Kristen Henry's 9-year-old twin sons have dodged more medical bullets than anyone should ever have to face.
Both had strokes at birth. Did ventilator for 9 weeks plus an ICU for months at a time.
Jacob and Jared were born at 26 weeks, dangerously early and just 2 pounds each. There was a laundry list of life-threatening problems: cerebral palsy, lung, heart, orthopedic, even neurological issues. Kristen and the family were called countless times to their bedsides to say goodbye, but the boys never left. At 3 years of age, they weren't walking. And at 4, Jared was paralyzed from the shoulders down because of an allergic reaction to medicine. Kristen Henry had the boys in literally every kind of rehabilitation and therapy program that one can imagine. But then one day, completely out of the blue, someone pointed out the ranch that sits down there at the far end of this long dirt driveway, and the horses.
I'm trying to put together in my mind this crazy 3 to 4 years of not even knowing if your kids are going to live. And then somebody says, hey, bring them out, throw them on a horse. Everything's going to get a lot better. I mean, what are you thinking at first, really, when you
I'm thinking they're crazy,
that?
the asthma, the lung, everything that they have, and I'm thinking, okay, we can't even hardly sit up, and you want me to put my kid on a horse?
Rocky Top Therapy Center in Keller. This is where Jacob and Jared's lives have changed dramatically on the backs of gentle, loving, hippo-therapy horses. Sister Brittany has watched it all with her own eyes.
I volunteered here before they started, and just seeing them progress and be able to move, and in fact, you know, not able to play sports, and now they are. It's just amazing.
With hippotherapy, recognized by many in the medical field, the gentle rocking of the horse teaches the boys to find what their body isn't giving them naturally.
Look at the balance on this boy.
And improving balance with all the twisting and the standing and even kneeling on horseback with licensed therapists guiding them, then snowballs to coordination improved self-confidence, and better communication.
And I was 5 when I come here.
Therapist Michelle Willis has worked with the boys for 2 years.
Somehow, the movement of the horses stimulates the spine, that stimulates the brain, that makes these kids be able to walk and talk and have lives. And it gives me chill bumps, and it makes my life full.
A lot of people watching this may say, I don't really get it, but once you're here, it all comes together.
You see it, you can believe it. You hear it, you don't think that that's possible. But once you see it and you feel it, you cannot not believe that it happens.
Okay, so if you can do that.
Same goes for Dr. Warren Marks at Cook Children's, one of the boys' doctors, and now a big advocate of hippo-therapy.
Because not only did it help the boys with their motor skills, but their behavior has improved dramatically.
Because of these horses and therapists, a difficult life has become more manageable. The boys can now walk up and down the stairs of their front porch instead of sitting down and scooting. May not seem like much to some, but this is a big step toward living a better life.
I like this walkie top, and they make me work hard.
And it's all achieved, one ride at a time.
Let's go put this horse in a stall.
Those are 2 very, very special little boys. When it comes to therapy and riding, we know it dates all the way back to ancient times. We also know that during World War I in particular, British soldiers were offered the chance at riding therapy at Oxford Hospital, but it was in the 1950s. That's when riding therapy really gained international acclaim. That was the result of the achievements of Liz Hartel, a Danish equestrian who was left paralyzed below the knees by polio when she was just 23 years old. Told by doctors then that she would not ride again, Hartel gradually resumed her training in competitive riding. In fact, she went on to compete in the 1952 and 1956 Olympic Games, winning 2 silver medals in dressage events. Therapeutic riding centers soon spread all across Europe, and then by the 1960s, organizations were formed in Canada and the United States to promote this type of therapy. Today, the value of therapeutic riding is recognized by professional organizations for physical as well as occupational therapy. When we come back, putting these horses to work for our heroes, men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Earlier in the show, you met Lauren Walden, who benefited from the Right Trail program here at Rocky Top. Lauren is currently a North Richland Hills police officer. He's a Marine. He has served this country in war in Iraq, and it's all those experiences combined that led Lauren to join the board here at Rocky Top for a very special program called Horses for Heroes.
So for veterans that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, it's for them, their families, their spouses, their children. They come out here with we have certified counseling and everything out here. What they do, they come out here, they have the counseling sessions, and then they incorporate the horses in with the counseling.
The issues which face veterans who are returning from war really vary from person to person, but it boils down to getting their life back to normal here stateside. And that's often a pretty big challenge when they've come from a life where it's nothing more than second-by-second survival.
When you come back from overseas, you have a time you need to kind of readjust and get used to back to civilian life back here versus being over there, being ready to take on whatever comes at you at any time. You're cruising down the road, you see a piece of trash on the side of the road, and you're thinking, okay, is that going to blow up? Is that a roadside bomb? Versus, because that's some of the issues you run into over there. So again, when you come back over here, you kind of need a time to desensitize.
The program began at Rocky Top in early 2009 and currently serves 18 clients a week, but they have room for more. It's funded through Operation Healthy Reunions. That's an outreach of the Mental Health Association of Tarrant County.
The program helps the veteran to learn additional coping skills. It gives them an unintimidating environment to be able to work on any issues that come up for them that they would like to work on, and it gives them the opportunity to work on relationship skills with a horse, as well as some of the physical release from riding.
And Horses for Heroes is unique in addressing both physical as well as emotional challenges, which can be numerous for returning veterans.
We have a tremendous amount that are dealing with combat-related stress, post-traumatic stress disorder, a lot of marriages that are kind of on that path of, okay, we can either make this work or we're done, and trying to figure out what is going to be best for them. A lot of children that are trying to figure out, okay, mom or dad went away a year ago and they're completely different now, and I don't know what I did wrong or how to reconnect with them and help the family come back together. There's also some addiction issues that are involved in that as well as just the ability to learn how to relax again and just be back in civilization.
There is so much good work that is going on here right now. I really hope that you've enjoyed seeing how minds and bodies are being helped on the backs of these horses. Over the last half hour, it's all been about possibilities, it's all been about breakthroughs, and it's also been about regaining some of what many had thought had been lost forever. Rocky Top is one of a number of riding therapy centers here in North Texas. If you'd like some more information, just log on to that web address at the bottom of your screen. For CBS 11 and our entire crew, I'm Doug Dunbar. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Let's go, Rocky.